Welcome to an episode of Bargain Saturdays, and this week I decided to take a look at a movie I thought was going to suck right from the get-go. 2 by 2 God's Little Creatures, 1 arc, 50,000 animals. What could go wrong? Oddly enough, what did not go wrong was the movie itself. Despite my expectations and despite what you might think from the box art, this movie doesn't suck. It's not a great movie. I mean, it's a rather simplistic movie when you get right down to it. There's just not that much complexity going into it, but let's face it, most things that are charming are not very complicated. So it can get by with its simple message about teamwork and how Dave needs to learn how to be more assertive and how Finney's friends have to learn about teamwork and learn that they need to work together in order to survive for as long as possible so Dave can turn around the arc and come get them because Finney fell off and some others got left behind that wanted to get on the arc as well. Because to get on the arc in this movie, you have to be on the list. That's right. Noah's Ark is like an exclusive club. If you ain't on the list, you ain't getting on that arc. You're just going to be left to drown, baby. And guess what? The Nestrians don't make the list. Probably because they produce this blue, nasty smelling smoke when they're scared. Imagine most people are like, man, that flood comes in, they're going to see it, they're going to freak out, and they're going to stink up the whole shit. We got 4 days and 4 nights we got to be on this stinking boat already. We ain't going to have to put up with it smelling bad as well. I'm sure actually it probably smelled really awful with all those animals all snuggled in close together, but you know what? We don't need any extra stinky smells on there. Especially when you smell so bad you can knock out a lion. So yeah, the Nestrians get cut off, get the boot, because they didn't make the list. So they decide to sneak on board, dressing up as Grimps. These cat-like things, which you can see on the front cover, and there's one on the back cover. But Grimps are loners, you see, and they're not as dumb as the other animals, and you can tell that Finn and Dave are fakes right from the get-go. But the other animals, they're just too dumb to realize. Really sad day when most animals are too dumb to realize you're a fake when you're wearing a coconut on your face. But that's just how it goes. And while Dave and Finney might have managed to sneak themselves onto the ark as Grimps, Finney manages to get himself tossed overboard anyway. Or I should say, lost overboard, because he decides to go exploring on the deck following our youngest Grimp here. Because she wants to be brave and see the flood for herself. So Finney and her now have to survive until their parents can turn the ark around and come pick them up. Of course, along the way, they're joined with some other friends as well. And they come to call themselves various nicknames, like the Flood Runners, the Ferocious Four, stuff like that. Not particularly impressive nicknames, but eventually they learn that they have to work together in order to survive until the very end. And Dave and her mom have to learn they have to work together as well. And yeah, you can also point out there's some, obviously, twists and tweaks to the story as well when you have a mother-daughter pair going on to the ark instead of a mating pair. But you know what? Let's face it, this movie makes very little mention of God to begin with. I don't think God gets mentioned at all. I mean, outside of being mentioned in the title, he's not present, or she, whichever you prefer. And Noah only gets mentioned once. You don't get to see Noah, he just gets name-dropped once before they start talking about how awesome the ark is and how it's going to save all the animals. If you're on the list, obviously. Yes, it's not a very complex movie, but it is enjoyable enough as is, and quite frankly, it has a very simple but good message to give the kids. And with a few decent jokes thrown in there as well, it's a rather passable, it's a very decent way to pass time. Not the greatest way, obviously, but definitely an enjoyable one. So it's a bit weird for me that some people really hate this movie. I'm sure they're justified with their own opinions, so I just don't get it. Some of it seems to be rooted in a whole creation-evolution debate, but quite frankly, this movie didn't really bring up religion, so why even go into that sort of discussion? I don't know why you have to talk about how insane Nestrians are as a species. I mean, you have obviously what looks like a furry animal, so it obviously should breathe oxygen through its mouth, but it also can breathe underwater, as we find out near the very end is a surprise twist. So it also has gills. Sorry for ruining the ending there, but quite frankly, I don't think too many people that watch this video are probably going to watch this movie anyway. Until next time, then. See ya.